Okay people, hoovers, heaters, TVs and all other sentient electrical appliances, let's talk about what I consider to be one of the most underrated Disney films of all time, The Brave Little Toaster. Based on a 1980s novella, which here means short novel, even the director himself said that this film wasn't really for kids, and maybe more for an older crowd of young adults and teens, and after just one watch you can see why. Especially when it gets to one crucial scene, which we'll get to in a bit, but if you've seen it before, you probably know which bit I'm referring to. So yeah, there are some adult themes in here, sometimes slightly morbid and sometimes even existential. The story takes us on a journey with a few household appliances that can, for some reason, speak and move and see and breathe and contemplate their own existence. Sort of like Toy Story before Toy Story, but like way less interesting as a concept. I mean, the idea of what your toys do at night is fun, exciting and enjoyable, but I've never really been awake at night thinking about what my washing machine gets up to while I sleep. Also, and I swear, I'll get into the most messed up bit of the film in a minute, but what's with the names of these characters? We've got Toaster, who goes by the name Toaster. We've got the radio, we've got TV, we've got Lampy and Blanky, which are a bit better, and we've got the vacuum cleaner who's called Kirby, which is like a brand name. And that leads me to think that maybe this film is very unsubtly sponsored by them.
Oh, here they come. It's Toaster, Radio, TV, and the Power Suction 5000. Now with detangled technology available at every local supermarket coming this Friday.
Anyway, the point is you wouldn't expect objects so seemingly mundane to produce a film that could genuinely enthrall and entertain you, and yet here we are, the bold little toasty boy, or whatever it's called. Now, the household appliances have been abandoned. It's tragic. They're all in a cabin and they're wondering when the master's gonna come and collect them. When they realise he's not coming back, they all head off convinced that there must be a reason for it and that they'll find him somewhere out there in the big wide open world. Not before having a conversation with a dusty old air conditioning unit who tells them that they're dumb little babies and they need to shut up. They start arguing back, implying that he's not bothered because his master didn't play with him like he did with them. I mean, how on earth you play with a toaster or a lamp is beyond me. This causes the air conditioning unit to, ironically, have a bit of a meltdown and die. Like, damn, he's actually dead. How disturbing is that image? And the other appliances don't even really seem that bothered by it. They just carry on talking with this old boy dead on the wall like some morbid painting. R.I.P. my boy AC. They all bugger off anyway and go on with their adventure now that they've murdered this guy with the weapons of bad breath and colourful language, and they find themselves in a few different places before they arrive at Ernie's disposal, aka the junkyard, and oh damn. This is where it starts to get a little bit dark. Ernie's disposal is like purgatory for appliances, mostly cars, and just looking at it, you can feel the weight of depression, the heavy fog of lost life, love and luster. Everything there is sad, depressed and devastated at the realization that its former glory has been reduced to the point of insignificance, and what was once a gleaming, shiny pride and joy to some happy teenager is now a heap of scrap metal, ready to be cubed. And like it's so tragic. It actually is. In the middle of the junkyard is an enormous conveyor belt that leads the cars into the mouth of a gigantic crushing machine. And you can smell the sadness on screen as the apparently maleficent magnet that drags the cars into the conveyor belt of death swings around looking for another vehicle to murder. And then the song starts. Yeah, the song. The song I want to talk about. The scene that killed me hearing it for the first time and does each and every time I go back to it. The song called Worthless. In comes the first car.
I can't take this kind of pressure. I must confess, one more dusty road would be just a road too long.
We then witness this poor blue motor get absolutely mashed by the crushing machine. His eyes bulging, and then out the other side comes a tiny little cube that's taken off to an unknown location. I mean, that is dark. That's Bourneville chocolate dark, 100% cocoa, and it feels like it's a genuine metaphor for life. I mean, what else? How do we feel when we get a new job? Enthusiastic, giddy with anticipation and promise. You're the new toy in the office. You make friends, you learn, you live, and then one day you just no longer need it. And you get put on that conveyor belt right out of there. They get you to do a handover document and suck everything out of you and leave you to do whatever you do next. Absolutely worthless. The cars sing their melancholic number as they are, and one by one get dropped onto the metaphysical moving motorway that guides them to their gruesome demise, with lyrics such as
I just can't seem to get started. Don't have the heart to live in the fast lane. All that is past and gone.
It seems like the creators are saying that this is just what happens. You work your whole life, you treat people right, and one day they turn around and say, mate, you're no longer needed, and you get fired, discarded and recycled into the world of corporations to be thrusted into whatever square you fit now that you've been moulded. Depressing is an understatement as we witness car after car be taken solemnly to their death, with one poor little guy who used to drive some Native Americans around on a reservation even driving off before the magnet can get to him to put him up on the highway to hell. Meaning that this pickup truck committed suicide in the most gruesome way. I mean, it's not exactly Ratatouille, is it? Don't worry, the appliances all get out okay and are eventually rescued by their old master, so they're all good. But my lord, the whole automobile industry got an absolute sob story here. And I'm writing this just 1 week after I scrapped my own car. I'm so sorry, little Vauxhall Insignia. You were so good to me.
But not as good as the Kirby vacuum cleaner, which collects up to 10 times as much dust than before, even in hard to reach areas.
Anyway guys, did you feel the same as I did when watching this back then? Is it good? Is it absolute nightmare toast? Give me your comments. Let me know how you felt. I've been Kofi and this has been an awkwardly bad movie filled with horrendous themes, so good night and enjoy your nightmares.